So welcome everyone. Welcome to this session. And this session is mainly about I will show you the mock test of CSIR Net Physics and also tell you that how to prepare for an exam and how to attempt an exam. So once you are in an exam hall and you have an exam in front of you, how to manage 3 hours and how to attempt an exam. Okay. So I hope everyone can see the screen, right? I will go to the screen. Okay. So let me zoom in a little bit. So once you search on a Google, you will find NTA mock test. So everyone should do this activity, NTA mock test. And once you go to this second link, you will see that you can select an exam and here you can choose CSIR. Okay. And then in that you can choose physical science and then you can start the mock test. So why I'm choosing this mock test only so that you have an idea that how exactly your exact mock test is going to look like. Okay. So you log in and these are some of the what I can say is the instructions and so on. In an exam you read right now, there is no need. You tick here and you proceed. Okay. So this is how your exam will look like, screen will look like. So before you actually go to the exam, it is best idea that you first of all have a see this screen first. Okay. Before going to the exam. Now on before going to the exam, there are few things that you need to keep in mind. Number one, obviously read your application or your roll number very well, because there is a need for photographs, there is a need for thumbprint. Okay. So all these things you should be done before the exam. I have seen many times whenever I go to the exam, I see that there are some people running for passport size photograph, there are some people running for getting the thumbprint done and so on. So these things should not happen, because any kind of anxiety you have that day will be not good. So your mind should be calm, peaceful, right? Your mind should not be, oh, this is an exam, I want to qualify and so on. Very important exam for me. There is no past, there is no future. The people who do good in an exam understands one thing, that this is a new day. There is no past. I have never failed in this exam. I have never passed in any exam. This is the first exam of my life. And also, there is no future. If I pass, there is nothing good going to happen. And if I fail, there is nothing bad going to happen. So, all I need to do is basically just play like a video game. So, when you play a video game, you don't think, Ki, is this the first time I'm playing video game? What if I fail in this video game? What if that person I get killed in the video game? Nothing. You just play the video game. Okay. So these 3 hours are like a playing a video game. If you treat it like that, your exam will automatically be good. And to be very honest, it does not matter if you qualify this exam or not. Okay. The life gives us enough opportunities always to rectify our mistakes. And even if you qualify, it's not like that tomorrow you will have a meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, right? Even then, the struggles of the life and the successes in the life will keep on coming. So don't take too serious. Preparation should be serious. Exam should be like a video game. Okay, I'm going and playing the video game. Now in this exam, you will have three sections: Part A, Part B, Part C. Number one mistake: people do not attempt Part A. People usually think Part A, why we need to do. Part A is very important. Okay, so in Part A, you basically, every question is for how many marks you have. Almost how many marks you have? 2 marks, right? Every question you have for is a 2 marks, right? 1.5 marks or 2 marks. 2 marks. Okay.
It's for 2 months. 2 months.
2 marks. I'm confusing with gate. Okay. So you only need to attempt 10 questions in that. Nothing more. You just need to attempt 10 questions and you will have 15 questions in your exam, right? You
No,
can
sorry.
see.
There will be 20. We need to attempt
15
15.
questions.
Sorry, 15. Sorry. 15 questions you have to do out of 20. Sorry. Okay. So you will have 20 questions in part A and only 15 questions you need to attempt. So total this section gives you is 30 marks. Okay. So 30 marks you will have in total, and you basically need to attempt for 30, but total marks you will have will be 40. Well, 40 mark questions they will give you, but only 30 marks you have to attempt. So question number 1 to 20 will going to be the general aptitude kind of thing. Basically, you can say logical reasoning and so on and so forth. So in this section, I always say that start with this section. Always, I always suggest you that start with this section. Okay. And the idea should be that I at least give 30 to 40 minutes to this section. Many people give too less time for this section, but to be honest, this is a section which is going to decide your qualification. Without this section, you cannot get qualified. Okay. So 30 minutes, first 30 minutes, first 40 minutes can easily go for this section, and your target should be almost full. I hope you are writing this down. So part A equals to 30 minute to 40 minute. So please have this noted down, 30 minute to 40 minute. And part A should be your target should be that full marks I will try to achieve. Okay. So if I can achieve 30 marks, I'm going to achieve 30 marks. That should be the target. Or at least more than 20 marks should be done in an exam. At least 20 marks is the minimum and 30 marks is the maximum. Anything in between you score is a good score. 20 to 30 is a good score. Less than 20 if you are scoring, obviously you are giving yourself some negative chances. Someone else will be ahead of you. Okay. How do we attempt part A? So let's say this is question number 1. Now question number 1 here is, in a bacterial cell, all protein is synthesized randomly. So some random question is there. Okay. I have no idea. As a physics student, I have no idea how to do this question. Okay. I will never come back to this question. Okay. So the idea is skip the question as fast as you can and give more time to the question which you are actually attempting. Skipping the question quickly and giving more time to the question which I know and which I'm going to attempt. So this question I'm never going to come back. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything with this question. I go to second. Now this is a first question I'm going to attempt in an exam. So I should ask myself, is it a right question? So a precious stone breaks into 4 pieces. Okay, stone is breaking into 4 pieces. Their weight is in the proportion 1, 2, 3, 4. The value of such stone is proportional to square of its weight, but is a percentage loss in its value incurred due to breaking. Okay. Always remember, this is simple algebra kind of questions. You assume that the total weight of the stone was X, or you can even give some number like 100, and then you break it down 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So then you do the simple ratio mathematics and you try to get the answer. Okay. So this is a question which I can basically try to do. But sometimes what happens is that initially, if your heartbeat is very fast and you don't want to do something which is not very simple, that is also fine. Let's say you think that I can do this question, but I'm just entering into the exam hall. So my heartbeat is right now not settled in. So I might make a mistake. So what you do is, this is a question which I can do, but it might take some time or something like that. So I will mark for review and next. So mark for review only those questions which you ever want to come back. If you want to come back to those questions, only then. Otherwise, the question which you feel that I can never do, I have never studied this concept, just do not do anything with them. Never come back to those questions. Save your time. Okay. So now in my mind, I have this question read. Okay. Now coming to the next question. Two runners are starting together run on a circular path. So in a page, you draw a circular path. Both taking 6 and 8 minutes respectively complete one round. How many minutes later do they meet again for the first time on the starting line? If you have done last 5-6 year PYQ, you know that this is one of the many repeated questions and has been coming many times. Okay, so this is something which you can easily do this question. I will not give you the solution, but as such, it's a question which you can easily do. Okay, so let's say its answer is C. You do it and your answer is C. When you are doing the question, now your idea is not to keep looking at the time again and again. So I am not focusing on this time after every question. Okay, question number 2. So you do the maths like this. 30 minutes, I need to do 20 questions. Anna. So I need to do basically 15 questions in 30 minutes. So 2 minutes are there for each question. So after every question, you don't see that if 2 minutes are done or 2 minutes are not done. you look at the watch after 30 minutes. Ki in the last 30 minutes, are you on a right track or not? So look at the time. So let's say now I will look at the time at 1:30. So in your actual exam, it will be 2 hours 30 minutes. So I will look at this at 2 hours 30 minutes, not before that. If I keep on looking the time after every question, there is an unnecessary panic which is going on. So don't have that panic in your mind. You can look at the time after 20 or 30 minutes. Simple as that. Okay. So I done this question. Whenever you have selected something and moving to next one, you always save and next. So green should pop here. So there should not be silly mistakes like green does not came or something like that. So this should happen. That third question I have attempted, I'm never going to come back to it. There is no time to check your questions. Always remember, it's not a school exam or a college exam where you, after completing an entire exam, you will have time to check your questions. If you want to check your maths after you have done third question, let's say third option, you look at other options also, and again check your maths very quickly on the piece of paper which you have done. And once again, so check the question at that moment only. There is no time afterwards to check the question. So once you're again convinced that, okay, the answer should be C, then you can basically save and next. So now I will never go back to question number 1 because I have no idea about it. I will never go back to question number 3 because it is done. Okay, question number 4. So question number 4, there is a distribution given, and you look at the graph, you basically this table, there is a grade, there is a fraction of population. What is the least possible population of the class? Minimum population, what will be? So if I multiply 0.1 with 2, I get 0.2. So can there be 0.2 people in the class? No. If I multiply by 4, there will be 0.4. Can there be 0.4 people in the class? No. This 0.1 makes sense only when you multiply with 10, because there can be one person in a class who has grade A. So obviously D is the correct answer. So you tick mark here and you save and next. Okay. So now I'm never going to come back to question number 4. Okay. Now here again, these kind of questions, and 9 numbers are there in an ascending order. Their average M is strictly greater than all of those first 8 numbers. Which of the following is true? In such questions, you always try to assume some numbers. Okay. You always try, okay, let's assume some numbers and try to do some basic idea. Okay. So also you can do one thing is, okay, you think that you can do this question, but you don't have a clear idea in mind. As of now, right now, when I'm looking at this question, my first feeling is that, okay, if I assume some numbers like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, some numbers I assume, and then I also follow the last line. What is the last line? Their average is strictly greater than all of first 8 numbers. So their average must be greater than the first 8 numbers. So that I can easily do by taking the last number very large. So if I take last number as something, then I can achieve this, and then I can do something and try to match the options. So basically my idea is that I can do it, but I don't have a very clear picture how I will do it. So the good option in that case is you mark for review and next. So now I can do the second question, I can do the fifth question, but I will do it later on. Abhi, once my first 20 questions, I have seen all the 20 questions, then I will do second and fifth. Okay? So my first idea is that I quickly glance through all the questions, and my time limit remains the same, that for part A, including everything, I'm going to spend 30 to 40 minutes. Okay? In this way, what will happen is within first 5 minutes, your 2 questions are done. So third and fourth question is done in 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes, you have scored 4 marks. And also you are already at question number 6. Okay? So very quickly you are moving ahead in your exam, and at the same time, your marks are also increasing. Okay? Question 6. Now the problem happens, let's say, now question number 5th. I can do it and I start doing it. That is what 99% of the people do. I can do this question and I start doing it, because that is how brain works, right? Brain gives you an idea and then you start implementing on that idea. But you have to ask your brain, do you have a full idea? You have idea from beginning to end how to do it? So if your brain does not have a full idea and only the idea to begin with, it is best that you put it for review and move to next question. Okay? That is why this option is there. Then question number 6. Which among the following graph represents woman, mother, human beings? So in this, there is no solution as such. Whatever you have to think now only. Okay? So human beings involve all the women, and all the women involves all the mother. There can be no mother who is not woman or no human being. है ना? So by looking at all four options, what is the first thing that come to your mind? Right? What is the first thing that come to your mind? And think about very carefully. Okay, human being. So always think everything. Don't get persuaded by an option. So in CSR net, there will be always be one option which wants you to attract towards itself. Okay, so that option will attract you, and your entire thinking will get biased towards that option. So how do you remove that bias? Rather than looking at the options, try to draw this by yourself. All human beings. So have a circle or have some big circle. Now this human being contains both man and women. Okay. Then draw two circles in it. In that, so a big circle you can imagine. Let me draw here whatever bad diagram I can make with the mouse. So big circle, right? So let's divide into two parts. Okay. So this contains men, women. This contains uh, what I can say, men. Okay. Now within this half of the circle, there will be now this entire half circle is for women. But in this women category, not all will be mother. Okay, some will be mother. So some portion of this will be mother. Okay, so this portion of mother cannot go here. This portion of mother cannot come out of woman, because no one can be mother who is not woman. Right? So this portion cannot come out of this bigger circle because everyone has to be human being. So you see, when you try to draw the graph yourself and then try to understand the options also, rather than going for a gut feeling, I can tell you one thing. There are exams like civil services exams like you can say the exams, other exams like which contains history, geography thing, which contains facts. Those in those exams, guts plays a very important role. If your gut is saying something, then it is based on some subconscious thing you might have read. But in physics exams, if your gut is saying something, that most probably that will be wrong. Most probably that could be wrong, until unless you prove it right by saying that okay, this option is wrong because of this option is wrong because of this, and this option is wrong because of this, then this has to be true. So spending 2-3 minutes on a question which you are going to attempt is always useful, rather than within 30 seconds you just go for your bias. Everyone must have had one diagram by looking at this question. आपने ये diagram आपके मन में आया होगा कि okay, this कैन एनीवन अनम्यूट एंड टेल मी, क्या आपके दिमाग में आया कि यार ये डायग्राम मुझे थोड़ा अट्रैक्ट कर रही है? व्हाट डू यू से? क्या आपके क्वेश्चन
Which
रीड
diagram,
करके
sir?
एनीवन
Uh,
एनी डायग्राम के?
Yes,
first one, sir, actually.
part one, sir. When I'm in first part.
अच्छा, राइट, एवरीवन, सबके मन में फर्स्ट डायग्राम आया कि ह्यूमन बीइंग, देन दिस इज वुमेन, एंड देन दिस इज द pregnant woman, right? Mothers, right? So the idea is that okay, this might be correct, but you have to prove that why this is wrong, why this, spend some time in proving why this is wrong. Okay, why this is wrong and why this is wrong. In this, which, what is circle, what is this, you can imagine. Okay, so once you have a clear idea, okay, these three should be wrong because of this, right? Then you are done, because you see in second and third and fourth diagram, what is happening is it is going out. So once you have a human being, then everything has to come under it. Okay, so that is a good logic to say that okay, one is correct. Okay, so one को अगर मैं correct लेकर चलूं, save and next. Once you have given that much time to your question, then you never come back to it. Okay, then next question, always read all the questions. A boy and a girl makes a following statement, then you read about these two statements, and then you can predict about it. So now you have got an idea that you have to see all the questions. How many quadrilaterals does this following figure have? Now if the options would have been 3, 4, 5, 6, I would have counted. Now, if you start counting now, let's say now you saw the diagram and now what is the first idea your brain said? Let's count. If you don't know the trick, you will count. Okay. I will never count. I will never count. I will say, okay, I can count. And also you see the options are very close, 17, 18, 19, 20. So there is a full chances that if I count, I will miss one or I will over count one. So this question, I might not have to do. है ना? So it's best that I can do it, but mark for review and next. 12 balls, 3 of each color, picked probability questions. If you have done probability, you will be easily able to solve such questions. So spend time on this kind of questions. Okay, so let's say I solved it and it come out to 2. So this kind of questions I should time on. Basically, the probability question. Physics student can do probability. It is also the part of your syllabus. Okay, save and mark. Oh, sorry, save and next. Then some aliens observe that roasters call sunrise every day. Having so this is a basically what do we call it as um, logic based thing. You if you read this out, you might be able to easily solve this question out. So let's say I choose fourth. Okay. 21 liter of the water in a tank is to be divided into 3 equal parts using only 5, 8 and 12 liter. The minimum number of transfers need to achieve this. Okay. Again, this is something question which you can think now. Think now, and if it takes more than 30-40 seconds something to come to mind, for 30 seconds it is okay. By using 5, 8 and 12 liter, and I have to basically 20 liter water I have to divide into 3 equal parts. 20 liter 20 liter water in a tank is to be divided into 3 equal parts. So I have to divide into 3 equal parts. How I can do, how many number of transfers I have to make. If your brain gives you some very clear hint in first 30 seconds, it's okay. Otherwise, mark for review and next. Okay. So you see, till now I have completed 10 questions. In first 10 questions, even after speaking to you and doing things like that, it will not take you more than 15 minutes, 10 minutes or so. 10 minutes looking, because end of the day you have only solved 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 questions. Third question, fourth question, sixth question, ninth and 10th. Okay, let's say 5 questions you have solved. So it will not take you more than 10 to 12 minutes to do it. Okay. So in first 10 questions, you are sure about 4 questions. So you are already at 8 marks. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4 questions you can do. Basically, these are the questions which you can attempt. Or no, 3 questions. 3 questions you can attempt. Question number 2, 5 and 8. Right. And only 2 questions you have left. So you said I cannot do anything about 7. However, I can do something about 7. So I can do it. But first question you have completely left. है ना कि ये तो I will not do. है ना I will never do this question. So this question you have completely left. Okay, so then similarly these kind of logic questions will be there. 13th question will be there. So now these kind of questions which gives you an idea कि okay ये कर सकते हैं. If you can do this question, if some so idea full more or less the idea is if something says that I can do it, but I don't have a full picture of it how I will do it. So for first instance you should do mark for review and next. Okay, but if you have some idea कि okay this question I can definitely do it, which of the following is largest? If you have some idea कि okay this is 110% I can do, right, then you should always try to do this kind of questions that in which you have a full idea that okay, because you see 2 out of 50 and 4 out of 30 is very simple, because 2 out of 50, 4 out of 30 can be written as 2 out of 60. ठीक है, तो ऐसे ही what you can try to do is try to look for the things कि which gives you an hint कि ये हो सकता है. If you have an idea, अगर आपको नई आइडिया है this kind of आपने PYQ you have not done, तो उसको mark for review and next. The idea is you are gaining marks from 2 sides. One, by actually attempting the question, and second, by saving the time. If you save 2 minutes, it is equals to 2 marks. Or if you save 2 minutes, at least it is equals to 1 mark. So if you're not going to attempt any question, please do not do experiments in an exam. Okay, people start doing experimenting in an exam. Let's say I don't know it. Okay, ठीक है, उसको कर सकते हैं, but at least don't do experiments right now. First, you have to understand the requirement. In first 20 questions, I have already solved 12 questions. And how many more questions is actually required? Right? Let's say in 20 questions, you have solved very less. only 5 or 6 questions. But at least those 20 questions should be done in 10, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, or let's say 20 minutes, so that another 20 minutes you have for experiment. So when you start doing experiment in an exam, when basically you start applying your brain to unknown questions, unknown things, at least you should have a clear idea in mind that for how many minutes I'm going to do it and for how many questions I'm going to do it. Okay. This lacks in student. For example, the second question, let's say students start attempting this. Let's say this question. Okay? I start counting it. अब देखो, many of you will count in an exam. करेंगे, सभी count करेंगे, and then no final answer is there. 3-4 minutes you wasted. क्या मतलब, this is wrong. This is where the exam strategy goes wrong. ठीक है, अभी नहीं count करना है. We will count later on. If I have to count, I will count. If you can do something, it does not mean you should do something. That is a very important lesson in an exam taking. I can do, it does not mean I have to do. And then you say that when I come home, I can easily count this. Okay, obviously that is an obvious thing. Student says that when they come home and attempt the questions, they can easily do, but in an exam hall, they cannot do. Obviously, that is the thing they are checking, right? Everyone can count very nicely when they are at home, right? You have 10 minutes and I ask you to count it. You will count it. Okay? So if I can count does not mean I should count. 16th. Then questions, something like these are the questions which are actually, you will see that some questions which are basically logic based question. Now they see this. Okay, I know the angles does not mean I will start using the angles. ठीक है, अभी ये एंगल वाला क्वेश्चन ऑब्वियसली देखने से ही इट इज डिफिकल्ट, सो आई विल पुट फॉर रिव्यू. ठीक है, गेट 1 एंड गेट 2 प्रोबेबिलिटी क्वेश्चन, ठीक है, आई कैन डू द मैथ्स एंड आई कैन ट्राई इट आउट दिस क्वेश्चन एंड आई कैन गेट सम आंसर. ठीक है, लॉन्ग रूम, लेंथ ऑफ द पेपर, सो algebra kind of question. So you see some questions will be algebra in which you have to assume something x, then satisfy the requirement of the question and then get to an answer. ठीक है, question 20, a wheel, point wheel, and then this is something like connected to basic mechanics, so you can even try this question. So the idea is once your 20 questions are done, if I would say that if in these 20 questions while running you are able to do 7 to 8 questions, 7 ही, only 7, means while watching these questions out as a 1 to 20 tak, and you leaving all the difficult questions which you can do but you have decided not to do right now, and then you reach to the 20th question, if you have only done 7 questions, that is good enough. Okay, but the idea is that it should not have taken more than 20 minutes. More than 20 minutes, मतलब ऐसा नहीं, क्योंकि right now you have only done those questions which were very simple for you, so putting time more than 2 minutes is very bad. ठीक है, so 7 question किए तो technically only 14 or 15 minutes should have been spent by now, or let's say 16-17 minutes, because you have left also. So that actually decides your selection ki okay, in first 20 questions you have done very simple questions, you have decided that in which questions you can use your mind, and also you have left the questions which you can never do. Okay, now the idea is that okay, let's say 20 minutes have passed, I still give you 20 minutes. Okay, now you have another 10 to 20 minutes. Do I put all the 20 minutes? No, just put 10 more minutes on this section and decide 3 to 5 questions more which you will do now. Okay, जो भी आपको, जैसे second question was algebra, so I can do, so put some brain here. Fifth question was average, I could assume some number and I can still do, so for me algebra and this number thing is more easy. This question I will never do, I will say no, I will never count because options are very close. Okay, now this again, this seems easy but I think it is going to be difficult. Okay, so in some questions in which objectivity cannot be checked, objectivity cannot be checked. For example, in this question, objectivity can be checked because once you get an answer, you will see average is either greater than m or less than m. So getting other options wrong will actually increase the probability of first option getting correct. Basically, other options are also giving you the hint that first is correct. But in such questions, you see either 3, 4, 5 or 7. I mean, objectivity is not correct. You have to find an answer and then one of the answer will be true. Means 7 does not disproves 3. Okay? So objectivity cannot be checked. In such questions, again, this is like geometry. I will definitely try because area has to find. So it's all also this is just a squares, right? So squares ka area to sabko pata hi hai, right? And we can try this question. Ho sakta hai we get stuck. Okay? Now let's say now this will also happen. After 1 minute or 2 minutes, 1 minute, you decide that okay, this question I'm not getting the next part. Please move on. Move on. And do not try to follow any pre-bias. I will move away from section A only when my 20 marks are done. See, please, these kind of biases should not be there. 20 marks, sir said that 20 marks is a minimum, so I will move away from part A only when 20 marks are done. No, please. This kind of thing should not be there. Even if you're scoring 16, 18 marks and nothing else is working out, please move on. If you are not scoring too much marks in any section, at least save the time from that section. Okay? So 30 minutes is a case in which you're scoring the minimum marks. Let's say you have to give to this section 30 minutes if you're only scoring 20 marks. Okay? You have to give 40 minutes if you're actually able to score 30 marks. ऐसा नहीं कि आपने 40 marks भी दे दिए, minutes भी दे दिए and you only score 20. It does not mean I'm not giving you the liberty to spend as much time as possible as long as you don't exceed 40 minutes. No. Obviously 40 minutes you will only go if you're scoring actually more marks. If you're not scoring more marks, then you have to make sure that in 30 minutes you get 20 marks and you go out of this section. You at least save 10 marks for next section. Okay? Any doubt in part A? Anything you like to ask in part A? I cannot read the chat. You have to ask by unmuting. Yes. Anything you like to ask in part A? Anyone? Yeah. Okay. I can read the chat also. Anything you like to ask? Can we go on to the next part? Clear? Yeah. Can we go on to the next part? Right? Everyone. What do you say? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. So few key points which we did in this section. First, 30 to 40 minutes, we will give it to it. We will try that we score 20 to 30 marks. And also, our main idea is that we divide the questions into something which I can do, but not now, and something which I cannot do, and something which I am already done with. Okay, that is very important. Okay, then comes physics section. Okay, so let's come to the physics section. Yeah. 21, 22, all these questions will be from the physics section. So let's say question number 1. An object is dropped on a cushion from a height 10 meter above it. And you read the question and you get an idea that this is a question from which the topic which I have prepared or I have the brains in it. Okay. Now, read the question. Always read the question. Now, some people, what they do, very high scribbling. You have a papers. Always maintain those papers very nicely. Put the number on the paper. Like I am doing question number 21. Okay. And then you do the maths, whatever is required. And if your question gets stuck, question number 22 and move on. See, if you want to come back to any question, at least the previous work that you did should be on your paper and it should be accessible. I can always come back to your paper and you can read. Okay, in last time when I tried this question, I was here. You should not be able, you should not have to write the same thing again and again. So always don't make, I'm not saying that you should have a good handwriting on your papers. I'm saying that you should at least have some navigation ki, okay, in this paper question 21 and circle, and then you do the math. How much time hardly it will take? 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 second, I guess. In a paper writing 21 and circling, it will take 1 second. But when you have to come back to question number 21, that circled 21 will help you a lot. Okay. Again, the idea is, now in physics, what will happen is an object is dropped. So this question is from basic mechanics. Okay. I can read this. I know basic mechanics. On being hit, the cushion is depressed by 0.1 meter. Okay. Assuming that cushion provides a constant resistive force, the d acceleration object after the in terms of g. सो आप F इक्वल टू MA वगैरह लगाइए, कुछ आंसर आपका आ रहा है तो यू टिक इट, और अगर आपका ऑप्शन मैच होता है, सो लेट्स से 50, आपका आंसर आया 50. Here comes the very important part. Whenever your question comes as 50, two, three things you always have to check. Is multiplying by 2 or 3 or 4 with this is in the option. For example, multiplying 50 with 2 gives 100. So that is also in the option. So you should always make sure that 100 has to be wrong. Okay? 100 has to be wrong. Or dividing by 2 or 3 or 4 gives you something else. Okay? It will never happen that the answer is 50. You are getting 50G and G can also be correct. It will never happen like that. And or 10G is also correct. It will happen that might be you are getting 50G but the answer was 100G because you missed two factors somewhere, or you missed taking an average somewhere. So always remember multipliers of 2, 3, 4. If it is in the options, always again recheck कि 2, 3, 4 तो कहीं multiply नहीं होना था. And always check minus and plus. If 50G and minus 50G are both in answers, then always obviously minus option also we will eliminate with the logical reasoning, not with the mathematical. ठीक है. Whenever you are comparing two options 50G and 100G, one is your maths. One very quickly in 30 seconds, if you can imagine some logic also. So you see what I am doing here. If I am getting an answer to some question, or if I am attempting the question, I am giving time to that question rather than wasting my time on those questions, trying to do those questions which I don't know. So what is the target for second part B? So the target for part B is 1 hour. 1 hour you will say so many questions are there. So you see, not many questions are there. Only 20 questions you have to attempt. Okay? Out of 25. So total 25 questions you have, only 20 you have to attempt. In that 20 also, I'm saying that you only will be able to attempt 15. 15 is the maximum anyone will be able to attempt. If you are someone who has done good enough preparation, attempting more than 15 will be very difficult. Okay? 15 itself, you see, will give you how many marks? Almost 42 marks it will. 52 marks almost it will give you. 52 marks it will give you. I don't think so anyone trying too hard in part B can score more than 50. Okay? Otherwise, if you leave part C completely and give so much time on part B, then obviously. So part B is something which you will never get too much loved with. People fall in love with part B in an exam. I tell you. So much time goes through part B. If anyone who has failed in CSIR Net, or someone who realized their mistake, would have been that they spent so less time in part C rather than part B. Part B is only 70 marks. 70 marks hai sirf. Giving it more than 1 hour is not at all advisable. Again, the things is again like that. 1 hour does not mean that you should spend 1 hour in going from question 1 till question last. That should be done in 40 minutes. मतलब फिर से वही करते हुए चले जाना है कि जैसे क्वेश्चन 1 आई ट्राइड एंड आई गॉट सम आंसर. ठीक है, 1. ठीक है, सेव एंड नेक्स्ट. क्वेश्चन 2 इज फ्रॉम द pseudo force, rotational pseudo force. I don't remember the formula. ठीक है, I don't remember the formula. तो if I don't remember the formula, तो अगर मुझे फॉर्मूला याद ही नहीं है तो इवन आफ्टर 10 मिनट्स फॉर्मूला खुद से तो आ नहीं जाएगा. तो दिस क्वेश्चन इज नेवर गोइंग टू हेल्प मी. ठीक है. Now this kind of gravitational constant, if I'm good in gravitation, basic, I will try to solve this question out. I will answer next. Now this is from oscillations, time period, potential से you find the force you make it equals to mv square by r. वहां से you go into time period. If you have done pyq, if you have solved the pyq I have given also in in basic mechanics, this is one of the very repeated question. ठीक है. Again, the idea is something like that. For example, for me, some idea immediately popped up when I saw this question. It is not important that same idea should have popped in your mind. For example, maybe this question is very new for you. You are getting no idea out of it. ठीक है, तो you move on. Do not try unnecessary things. For example, when do you attempt the question? For example, this question was from gravitation. I know that I can solve the questions of gravitation, or at least I have the basic sense कि gmm by r square होता है, energy ये होती है, this होता है. So I know the gravitation, so I will definitely try this out. Central forces chapter I have studied and I will try this question. I know that by looking at the question immediately the thing popped up. Some sort of PYQ popped up in my mind. Oh, I know how to find time period if the potential is given. It is as per that PYQ. So some PYQ popped up in my mind. Let's say this PYQ does not pop up in your mind. Okay, so for you this question is not doable. Next, perturbation theory. Now you might have done perturbation theory, so you use your mind. Okay, you use your mind and then first construct the problem very nicely. Okay, always understand the options first, demand of the question first. Let's say this perturbation, in perturbation always like these kind of questions, in which these kind of questions are actually risk questions. Okay, these I call is the questions which CSIR Net ask to basically test us. These are the testing questions. They want to test the strong characters and weak characters. Okay, now this question is from perturbation theory. Okay. But without doing this question, I cannot decide that whether the answer will come or not. Right? Without looking at this question, I have to do it. And it is very, very much possible that if I do this question, answer might not come. So what do you think? Should this question be the first thing I should do, or should I put it for review and next? Now you tell me. This question is from the theory that I know. I know perturbation theory formula. But does it match exactly with any PYQ which I have done? No. मतलब अभी तो आपको लगेगा yes because this is actually one of the PYQ, but other than this PYQ, does it matching exactly with any other PYQ? No. Is it solvable within 30 seconds or 1 minute? No. Is it possible that this question after solving I might not get an answer? Yes. So it goes for review. Okay. Review means I will do it. It's not like I will not do it, but sometime, after some time. Similar thing can be used here. So do not hesitate to skip too many questions in the beginning. Okay? Do not try to have a good feeling. That is the problem. That is the problem. People try to have a good feeling in an exam. Good feeling means that you are not playing for 3 hours. You want good feeling at all the times in these 3 hours. पूरे के पूरे 3 आवर्स में यू वांट कि दिस क्वेश्चन हो जाए, देन नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन हो जाए, देन नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन हो जाए, देन नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन हो जाए, 75 क्वेश्चंस हो जाए, देन यू हैव अ गुड फीलिंग एंड यू कम आउट ऑफ एन एग्जाम. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Some 30 minutes are comfortable, some 30 minutes are very uncomfortable. You have to bear with both. You have to stay calm in both. For example, when I am skipping this question, there is a pressure on my mind that I am already at 4th or 5th question in part B and only one I have done. It does not mean that this question I'm leaving. It just means that I have read this question. I will come back to it. Okay. So let's say it will always happen that my target for this is 15 question. Okay. It's 15 question. By the time you reach the last question, at least 7 तो हो ही जाएंगे ना. 7 तो हो ही जाए, आधे तो हो ही जाएंगे. By that आधे से ज्यादा ही हो जाएंगे. 10 questions तो in part B, anyone can find 10 questions in part B which are डायरेक्टली पीवाईक्यू बेस. सीधा सीधा पीवाईक्यू बेस के ऊपर कुछ ना कुछ आपके, इफ यू हैव डन लास्ट 5-6 ईयर पीवाईक्यू, लास्ट 5 ईयर के पीवाईक्यू किए हैं, यू विल गेट 10 क्वेश्चंस जो आपको सीधे दिख जाएंगे कि अच्छा वैसा था, दैट क्वेश्चन वाज लाइक दिस क्वेश्चन इज लाइक दिस. तो एटलीस्ट उन 10 क्वेश्चंस को पहले 40 मिनट में अगर कर लिया जाए, 30-40 मिनट में, 40 मिनट 40 मिनट्स में यू डन दोज ओनली दोज 10 क्वेश्चंस एंड आल्सो यू हैव रेड थ्रू ऑल द 25 क्वेश्चंस. ठीक है, all the 25 questions you have read through and 10 questions you have successfully solved. तो 10 क्वेश्चंस का मतलब यू आर ऑलरेडी अप बाय 35 मार्क्स. ठीक है, 20 मार्क्स अगर मैं लेके चलूँ, आप पार्ट ए में आ चुके हैं, तो 55 मार्क्स जो है, 55 मार्क्स जो है, यू हैव डन इट इन फर्स्ट 80 मिनट्स. मतलब 40 मिनट आई एम गिविंग यू टू पार्ट ए, 40 मिनट आई एम गिविंग यू टू पार्ट बी. 50 to 55 मार्क्स इन फर्स्ट 80 minutes you have done, or 90 minutes let's say you have done. मतलब पहले 1.5 आवर में you have done more than 50% of your cutoff and आपने अभी डिफिकल्ट काम करना शुरू भी नहीं किया. You have not even started doing difficult things. What you have done so far is you have given good time to part A, 40 minutes you have given to part A, only done 20 marks, means 10 questions. Out of 20, only 10 questions you picked up and solved and secured that 20. And only in part B, you have able to do 10 questions out of 25, which were directly PYQ based or very simple according to you. Because some are directly PYQ based and some questions are not PYQ based, but are simple for you because you are doing BSc, MSc. At least some topic, so it will be like this, no? That is easier for you. And half of the cutoff is done and you have not even able to have started doing the difficult job. Okay? But then I would say that don't shift from part B yet. Give some 20-30 more minutes. So let's say if 40 minutes are already done in part B, at least give 20-30 more minutes to part B and do all those questions which you could have tried and start with an increasing order of difficulty. First, the least difficult which you should try and then going towards the more difficult side. Okay, so pick up the question like, let's say quantum mechanics question, you are not able to use too much of mind, so do it them later on. Or let's say for some of you, mechanics could be the topic which in which your mind does not work very sharply, so in the end, okay, but at least I would say that okay, 10 questions hain, so try to bring them to 13, 14, okay, 15 kind of situation, but at least 1 hour you can give. Okay, so 30 to 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes in part A, okay, 60 to 70 minutes in part B. Okay, this is the situation. Okay, this is the situation. No, this gives you 90 to 110 minutes. I always suggest you that if you are scoring, you are able to score good, go towards 110 minutes. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Even if you go to 120 minutes, but you are able to solve questions. आपका answers आ रहे हैं, you are getting the answers. Don't hesitate. If you are able to get an answer, there is no problem in giving time. No need to panic. ठीक है? Every part B question can take 4 minutes. No problem. 4 to 5 minutes if it is taking, no problem. But your answer should be coming. You should not give 4 or 5 minutes to a risky questions, that the question you know that you might not be able to solve, and still you are not sure about the question, and still you are giving 4 or 5 minutes. 4 minutes can be given to a question where your brain has, for example, small oscillation question come, you know that it will take the time, you need to find potential, need to find kinetic energy, then you need to find eigenvalues. These, you know that it will take time. For example, some of you might have an idea, this question you have to do some integrals. No, people are doing integrals very fast. No, please don't save time from the questions you know. Again, my one line, don't save time from the questions you know. Save time from the questions you are unsure about. And save the time from the questions which you have not studied. Do not try to do experiments in an exam. There is a question, your brain is not giving you any hint, but you are sitting there using some brain. Exam is not about using the brain. Exam is about doing the same things which you have done before. In an entire paper, you have to find enough questions which are based on PYQ, which you have done before somewhere, sometime. Okay. Any question in part A or part B? Any doubt? किसी को any specific doubt, you come and let me know. Okay, few silly mistake avoidance.
Sir.
Number, yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
Sir, in the timer itself, it is showing only 2 hours. Why, sir?
नहीं, थ्री हो गए, वो यहाँ पे है, 3 हो गए.
So I thought like for C section we have to forcibly put 1 hour, and for A and B
No,
2 hours.
no, ऐसा कुछ नहीं.
Okay.
ठीक है. सो सिली मिस्टेक कहाँ पे होते हैं? लेट मी टेल यू दिस. सिली मिस्टेक नंबर 1 सिली मिस्टेक हैपेंस कि आपने इंटीग्रल्स, मैथ्स बहुत फास्ट किया. यू वर इन पैनिक. यू डिड fast. You made mistakes. You did not write it properly. You were avoiding writing every step. See, देखो ये सब करेंगे तो you waste time plus marks. Every student who feels pain after an exam is not for the questions he was not able to attempt, but for the questions he attempted and got wrong. So please make sure that when you are doing the maths, write the steps, write the step properly. And if there is any doubt in plus and minus, obviously double check your option. Give 1 or 2 minutes extra to the questions which you have already spent time on. If you spend 30 seconds, 40 seconds more on checking something that, okay, if have done the maths right or not, nothing wrong in it. In fact, it is good idea. Okay? Instead, you can save time. For example, let me tell you how to save time. This question I know how to do. I will do it. This question, let's say, पोटेंशियल वाला क्वेश्चन, ठीक है, ग्राफ है, अभी लगा रहे हैं दिमाग, लगाते रहो, करते रहो, दिमाग लगा रहे हो ना, फिर जहां जहां दिमाग लगाओगे वहां वहां फंसोगे. यू यूज द ब्रेन. करो यहाँ पे, अभी क्या करेंगे, ई इज ग्रेटर देन जीरो एंड ये ग्राफ है और यहाँ पे ऑप्शंस हैं एंड देन यू आर यूजिंग योर ब्रेन. ये यहाँ पे इतना कम होगा, ये यहाँ ज्यादा होगा, अच्छा ये यहाँ ज्यादा होगा, ये आइडिया है, ऐसा सोच रहे हैं. मतलब पेपर में रिलैक्स कर रहे हैं, रिलैक्स पे चले गए आप. यू आर थिंकिंग. थिंक नहीं करना. नहीं पता यार, नहीं पता नहीं यार, ये कैसे, मतलब आई इफ आई यू गिव मी द 10 minutes आई विल सॉल्व. बट यार दिमाग लगाना है ना इसमें. और अगर लेट से मुझे लग रहा है 1, व्हाट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिविटी दैट 2 कैन नॉट बी करेक्ट. तो नहीं करेंगे यार, नहीं करेंगे. सारा कुछ इसी इसी क्वेश्चन में. ओ या लव इट. क्वेश्चन देखा, कॉम्प्लेक्स एनालिसिस याद आ गया, तो करेंगे. सी, क्वेश्चन देखा, कॉम्प्लेक्स एनालिसिस याद आ गया, अरे द सोल्यूशन ऑफ द डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन, अच्छा डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन, दिमाग में डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन के नोट्स कम में पॉप अप. अब डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन कितनी तरह की होती है, सबसे पहला काम क्या है, डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन को चेक करना, कौन सी डिफरेंशियल, व्हिच काइंड ऑफ डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन इज दिस. क्या मुझे मिल पा रहा है क्या, ये कौन सी तरह की डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन है. ओके, अब इफ आई टेक एक्स हेयर, ओके ओके ओके, क्या मुझे मिल पा रहा है, ये किस तरह की है, 1/x, यस. तो dy/dx 1 + x, तो क्या है, यूज लीनियर, इज इट अ लीनियर डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन. हाँ हाँ हाँ, हो सकती है, लीनियर हो सकती है. तो लीनियर में इंटीग्रेटिंग फैक्टर आई हैव टू फाइंड, इंटीग्रेटिंग फैक्टर फाइंड कर लिया, उसके बाद आई नो दैट फाइनल सॉल्यूशन इज रिटन एज इंटीग्रेशन q इनटू इंटीग्रेटिंग फैक्टर. कर लिया, क्वेश्चन कर लिया. सी, मैंने दिमाग नहीं लगाया. आई एम नॉट यूजिंग ब्रेन. यू आर लाइक अ एआई मैचिंग द न्यू क्वेश्चन विद द प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन इन योर माइंड. You are not solving the new question based on the previous questions in your mind. You are matching the new question with the previous questions in your mind. Match करना है, दिमाग नहीं लगाना. Match. Brain little bit in the maths, in the little modifications in the question, little bit modifications if there are in the question. Only use brain in that. No brain at all in solving the new questions. ठीक है. I will tell you when to use brain. करेंगे, ऐसा नहीं कि पूरा पेपर खत्म हो गया और ब्रेन ही नहीं लगा. ठीक है. ऑलवेज यूज शॉर्ट ट्रिक्स. शॉर्ट ट्रिक्स आप जितना कर सके क्वेश्चन को, हाउ मनी टाइम यू कैन ट्राई टू सिंप्लीफाई rather देन सॉल्विंग इट इन अ जर्नल फॉर्म इज रॉन्ग. कंसिडर अ प्लेनर वायर लूप एज n साइडेड पॉलीगॉन. n साइडेड पॉलीगॉन गया भाड़ में, आई विल टेक 4 साइडेड पॉलीगॉन विच इज स्क्वायर. n को 4 डालेंगे, देखेंगे कौन सा ऑप्शन मैच हो रहा है. 2 हो रहे हैं तो n को 3 ले लेंगे. ठीक है. और 4 स्क्वायर की वजह से मैग्नेटिक फील्ड एवरीवन नोज हाउ टू फाइंड. ठीक है. क्वेश्चन को सिंपल करेंगे, सिंपल जितना सिंपल हो सके. ओके. एलिमेंट ऑफ द मैट्रिक्स, मैट्रिक्स बनाया, सबको याद आ गया. मैट्रिक्स बनाते ही आइगन वैल्यू एवरीवन कैन फाइंड. इसके ऊपर टाइम लगाओ, इसके ऊपर रीचेक करो क्वेश्चन को कि कोई गलती तो नहीं हो रही, आई एम मेकिंग एनी मिस्टेक. ओके. प्रोबेबिलिटी डी, ये सिंपल दिमाग लगाएंगे, आंसर आ जाएगा. ठीक है. 38th क्वेश्चन, दिस काइंड ऑफ डिस्टिंग्विशेबल पार्टिकल एंट्रोपी, नंबर ऑफ माइक्रोस्टेट्स का क्वेश्चन है. इफ यू हैव डन द formula and you can try it out easily. If you have done the similar kind of question, as for example I have done, so something is coming in my mind, might be your mind is not saying something about it. ठीक है. now again graph, दिमाग, दिमाग, दिमाग का क्वेश्चन आ गया. 30 seconds में अगर दिमाग लग गया, नहीं तो आगे. in 30 seconds if your brain is convinced with something, okay. Otherwise I don't put brain in my exam. I am the most stupid person in an exam. I'm going as a machine, repeating the things I have already learned rather than implementing into the new things. Simple. Okay. At very low temperature, the volume expansion curly V by curly T. पता नहीं भाई, पता नहीं. करेंगे, हो सकता है दिमाग लग जाए, but mark for review and next. ठीक है. Now delta x4 immediately मेरे दिमाग में Virial theorem came immediately, because in the previous questions Virial theorem has been used whenever the potential goes more than x square. So immediately in my mind came Virial theorem. In your mind, if Virial theorem does not comes, next question. Okay, now such question, significant figure, error analysis question, you know the formula, apply the formula. ठीक है, AC signal is like this, the power dissipated. ठीक है, इसमें ज्यादा दिमाग नहीं, formula base है. Amplitude is given, frequency can be found by using the graph, and you can, if you remember the formula for power dissipated, you can try out. ठीक है. So what is the one statement which I want to give you in part B? In part B, 10 questions find out which are directly PYQ based. Simple. 10 questions which are directly PYQ based. Do them. ठीक, PYQ based or something which you have done before. Basically for you it is PYQ based. Obviously every question will be PYQ based, but for you it should be PYQ based, that you have done that PYQ. Or the question which you might have done the similar question before, anywhere in your classes, in your school, in your college, in your anywhere. 10 questions you will be easily able to find out of 25. The soon you find and complete, it will be better. And then some half an hour you can give to part B to do only 5 questions, 5 to 6 questions, which actually need some sort of brain, but you are comfortable in applying that category of brain. For example, I'm not comfortable in applying mechanics brain, so I will not apply my mechanics brain, but I'm comfortable in applying quantum mechanics brain. So in quantum mechanics, I will be applying my brain, going through the options. So I will spend 20-30 minutes. Okay? But I will always make sure that in 90 minutes to 110 minutes, my part A and part B is done. Part C, important, very important. The person who does not give 1 hour to part C will suffer. 1 hour you have to give to part C. 1 hour. Without part C, no one can qualify the exam. Everyone can reach 60-70 marks, but no one will qualify the exam without C. If you have not covered part C topics before the exam, you have very less chances of qualifying, to be very honest. Many people think that they can qualify CSIR Net by looking at part B. They feel good, okay, part B. Many of the one-shot videos I'm looking at the YouTube are covering part B. Everyone is running behind part B. Without part C syllabus, you cannot qualify this, because part C syllabus needs to give you 40 to 50 marks. At least 10 questions in an exam should be done from part C. And doing 10 questions from part C is not easy thing until unless you have specifically done part C syllabus. That is why also I am covering most of the part C topics in my value addition. The students who are there in the class knows why I am focusing more on part C, because I know that every student will miss that. They will do the basic revision, but part C में fail होंगे. ठीक है? So part C को we have to give 1 hour, and every question you do needs at least 5 minutes. 6 minutes, कोई problem नहीं है. 5 to 6 minutes you give, but do the maths very peacefully, very calm, because once you are doing the questions of variational principle, time dependent perturbation, you are doing the questions of radiations, you are doing the questions on difficult questions of mathematical physics, numerical methods, all of that needs time. 5 minutes, 6 minutes of peace is required. So 60 to 60 minutes at least are required for part C. But in part C, you only have 10 seconds to decide question करना है नहीं करना. ठीक है, question करना है नहीं करना. For example, this is the question. ठीक है, mechanics का एक difficult सा question है. 10 seconds में I decided this is something I need to apply my mind on. Full mind it will take. There is no direct formula
Sir,
or no. Yes, please.
sir.
हाँ.
Sir, I'm sharing my experience. Actually, in part C, whenever I skip 2 or 3 questions, I get panicked.
3 में से एक ही करना है ना. Why you are getting panic? In part C there will be 30 questions. You only have to do 10.
Always I feel like that. I get panicked in part C. That's why I feel the problem.
नहीं, देखिए पैनिक का क्या है ना सिचुएशन. यू हैव टू डू 10 क्वेश्चंस आउट ऑफ 30. तो पैनिक नहीं करना है. यू शुड एटलीस्ट लुक एट ऑल द 30 क्वेश्चंस फर्स्ट. ओनली डू द क्वेश्चंस व्हिच यू हैव डन बिफोर, एंड आई विल शो यू हाउ यू कैन चूज. ओके, अभी करते हैं. देखो, जैसे 10 क्वेश्चन ही करने हैं, ज्यादा करने। सी इफ यू विल गेट मोर ग्रीडी कि मेरे से ये भी हो जाए वो भी हो जाए, नहीं, उस आपका क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं होगा। यू शुड, अभी बताऊंगा कि लास्ट में क्या करना होता है। अभी अभी देखो क्या हो गया। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, आई नो दिस इज कंप्लीट एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड, मतलब इसमें फुल दिमाग लगेगा। इट्स नॉट अ, एंड देर इज नो फिक्स्ड प्रोसीजर फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन। नो वन वुड हैव स्टडीड एनी फिक्स्ड प्रोसीजर फॉर सच क्वेश्चंस। तो ये क्वेश्चन नहीं है करने के लिए। ठीक है, इसमें क्या करना है, द फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ ऑसिलेशन स्मॉल ऑसिलेशन है, लैग्रैन्जियन सेटअप करके आई कैन अप्लाई द स्मॉल ऑसिलेशन। ठीक है, सो इन दिस क्वेश्चन आई हैव अ mechanism. I do have a mechanism that in this I can set up the Lagrangian. So what I did is I look at the diagram. Some information is given, and the last statement is frequency of oscillation. It means the question is from small oscillation. I apply the Lagrangian and then use the method of small oscillation to get the final answer. But obviously this question can get stuck. ठीक है, तो ये क्वेश्चन मैं करूंगा, दिस अभी कर सकते हैं। इवन इन पार्ट से यू डोंट हैव टू स्किप टू मच, और इवन यू कैन स्टार्ट डूइंग दिस क्वेश्चन एटलीस्ट नाउ। आप Lagrangian सेटअप कर लें, you spend 5-6 minutes to this question, answer will come. नहीं आता है तो it's unfortunate. Do not spend too much time. Even if you waste 5 minutes on this question, please move on. ठीक है, if you are not able to find the answer. Although what I do in an actual exam is कि even in part C what I do is I find for myself कि okay, this question I will do, and then I mark for review and next. Now this question, time evolution, eventually comes to it. Very new question for me. Very new question for me. Right? It's a differential equation. Might be I will be able to solve it, but it is basically now it is not new, but someone who has seeing it for first time, it is new. The reason being because this is from a stability analysis. ठीक है, तो new, no, no, no. Okay, WKB question. ठीक है, सो हाँ जी भैया, द स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ माई क्लास कर सकते हैं WKB का ये क्वेश्चन, दिखा कि नहीं? हाउ मेनी टाइम इट विल टेक टू
Yes,
डू?
sir. Fourth option.
Fourth
ठीक
option,
है,
sir.
30 seconds. Haven't you done this similar PYQ? Yes. So how much time it will take?
Yes.
1 minute. इसका आंसर किया, फोर्थ ऑप्शन आप बोल रहे हैं, चलो कर दिया, फोर्थ ऑप्शन कर दिया। इट मीन्स 5 मार्क्स ऐड हो गए सीधा। टाइम कितना लगा? 2 minutes। डन। चलो, तो ये मैं इमीडिएट, दिस क्वेश्चन आई विल डू इमीडिएटली। चलो, सेव एंड नेक्स्ट, सेव एंड नेक्स्ट। एक हो गया, एक हो गया, मतलब देखो पहले 3 में से एक मिल गया ना। ओके, अभी ये स्कैटरिंग का क्वेश्चन ऑब्वियसली आई विल ट्राई। ठीक है ना, क्योंकि मुझे पता है इवन यू डोंट हैव टू रिमेंबर द फॉर्मूला, फॉर्मूला भी उन्होंने दे दिया। एंड यू माई दिस क्वेश्चन इज एक्चुअली अ PYQ, तो इसको भी हम वी कैन ट्राई। क्योंकि अगर आपने स्कैटरिंग नहीं पढ़ा है ऑब्वियसली, तो देन यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू डू इट, बट सिमिलर टू PYQ काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन ऐसा आएगा एंड डन। ओके, न्यू क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज यू सी पोटेंशियल इज देयर, मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इज स्विच्ड ऑन, हाउ मेनी अनपर्टर्ब्ड हैमिल्टोनियन, पता नहीं, आई हैव नेवर डन PYQ सच लाइक दिस, skip. Born approximation, potential is given, cross section is asked, I know the formula, I will apply the formula and try to get the answer, I get some answer, move on. ठीक है, omega is given, phase velocity is given, omega by k I need to find, अरे very simple, omega by k I will find, right? Everyone knows phase velocity is omega by k and group velocity is d omega by dk. Omega relation is given to me, all I have to do is differentiations. देखा, क्वेश्चन इजी मिल गया। नेक्स्ट, okay, electric field, initial observer E and B, relativistic electristics. If you will do relativistic electromagnetism, you will realize that E dot B is always constant. So I will do E dot B here, I will do E dot B here. This question will get solved in less than 2 minutes. So I will get some answer, I will move on. ठीक है, so I am only attempting those questions in which I see some sort of PYQ knowledge is being applied. Otherwise, I am not doing it. The wavelength of the electromagnetic radiations received along the something new I can read. So you don't have to go so fast. I'm going fast to compile up the class, but otherwise you can think about it. A point charge is there, moving with beta c velocity along x-axis. Metal sheet is there, so many concepts are getting mixed. Radiation is there, metal sheet is there, charge is there, so not a direct formula based question, so no need. Newton-Raphson method, obviously I will do Newton-Raphson method. Who does not do Newton-Raphson method? I will get some answer, move on. मान लो आपने किया क्वेश्चन और आंसर नहीं आया, दैट इज ओके, डोंट फील बैड फॉर सच क्वेश्चंस. लेट्स से यू नो न्यूटन रेप्सन, यू ट्राइड टू डू द क्वेश्चन, आंसर इज नॉट मैचिंग, नो प्रॉब्लम. आप फॉर नाउ यू कैन स्किप, later on when you will come back you will be able to solve it. ठीक है, now this is forced oscillation. Forced oscillation, have you studied it? No. Do you know the process to solve it? No. Move on. The operator A has a matrix representation. and it has basis this, and there is another basis. What is a matrix representation here? Have you done this kind of question? Do you know how to go from one basis to another? Yes, do it. Do you know how to go from one basis to another? No, move on. Okay, Dirac delta. Do you know what is a derivative of Dirac delta? Yes, solve it. It's, if you know the formula, you know the formula. It will be done in less than how much? Very small time it can be done. Okay. Each step, then you see this is a random walk. Random walk problems are always like you have to use some brain. Use the brain. If you get the answer well enough, you try to tick it. Otherwise, in 2-3 minutes you move on. Okay. Next, Ising model. Ising model, you know, always you have to make a table. Anyone who has done the PYQ of Ising model knows that you have to make. But one thing you have to analyze here. One thing you have to analyze. Easy questions are coming only for the topics which are not easy. Understand the line. Easy topics are coming from the topics which are not easy. Ising model is not a conventional topic. WKB is not a conventional topic. Scattering is not a conventional topic. These are not the topics which you will find very easily being available or you can cover very easily. So part C syllabus has its own topics. Until unless you know the formulas of that topics, until unless you know the techniques or tricks, or you have done the PYQs of that topic, you can never see the similarity with the questions. And then you are very clueless in part C ki ho kya raha hai yaar, ye questions very difficult exam paper. Actually the paper is not difficult. You have not covered the part C syllabus. Okay, so part C syllabus ke upar, if you spend the time, that is always going to reward you in 5 marks. मान लीजिए आपने 3 topics किए and even one topic came in an exam, it will directly give you 5 marks. And the difficult questions will be from the topics which are actually very not conventional topics. ठीक है, जो questions जो conventional topics नहीं होंगे उनमें से you will get a difficult topic. For example, this is magnetism in statistical mechanics. इसका एक डायरेक्ट तरीका होता है करने का. इफ यू हैव डन PYQ यू मस्ट नो दैट. उसको करके यू कैन अप्लाई. ठीक है. नाउ दिस ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, अभी इसको भी समझ लेते हैं. दिस इज ऑल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट. दिस थिंग इज ऑल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट. सो इन पार्ट बी there are only 6 subjects. There are only 6 subjects. So every subject is going to give you 4 questions. Okay, and at least 4 questions every, because there are total 25 questions. So every topic is going to give you at least 4 questions. And there will be at least, basically, out of these 25 questions only, 4 to 5 questions will be some mixed category of questions. Like mechanics is also used, electromagnetism is also used, probability and digital electronics is combined. Something like these questions will be there. But you can expect that from every topic, there will be 4 questions. Okay. So in your subjects, whatever subject you are good in, try to identify what are the 4 questions of quantum mechanics. Why I am leaving these 2 questions even though I am good in quantum mechanics? Always try to bifurcate your paper also in the topics. And in part C, there are 9 subjects. Okay. There will be at least 3 questions from each, and there will be 4 out of, in some topics. In some topics there will be 4 questions, and in some subjects there is going to be 3 questions. Okay. So every subject is going to give you 3 topics. So let's say you are very bad in electronics. Everyone is bad in part C of electronics. So your goal is not to leave electronics. Your goal is that, okay, 3 questions of electronics will come. One I will be able to solve. And that one question will be from digital electronics. Digital electronics gate ka question I will be able to solve. So in electronics point of view, my target is to solve only 1 question out of 3, which is also from digital electronics, or if some other simple topic come. Always remember, every subject is giving you 3 questions. And at least one of these 3 questions will be very simple. For example, nuclear may either they will ask you binding energy or selection rule or something like that, which is actually a direct question. Solid state physics may they will ask you simple question on crystallography, and other 2 questions will be very difficult. Then similarly in the atomic and molecular, 1 question they will ask you directly from simple molecular, and other 2 questions will be very difficult. So in these kind of subjects, in which the questions, every year you see new category of questions, in which you see the new kind of questions, always remember, out of those 3 questions, you only have to do 1 which is coming from simple topic. Electronics, सारा पढ़ने से अच्छा है कि डिजिटल को यू गुड डू अ गुड प्रैक्टिस, एंड एक क्वेश्चन डिजिटल का 3 में से होगा, कर लो. OPAMP में RC oscillator phase and gain kind of problems are very much repeated. So that one question can come and you will be able to do it. Rather than doing everything multi-stabilators, क्या कहते हैं उसको, क्या नाम है उसका, मल्टी वाइब्रेटर्स एंड बाय स्टेबल, मोनोस्टेबल, सब पढ़ते जा रहे हैं, कोई फायदा नहीं. दैट डू नॉट वेस्ट योर टाइम देयर. सो ऑलवेज अंडरस्टैंड कि द सब्जेक्ट्स इन विच आई एम वीक, उसका मैं 1 out of 3 करूंगा. The subjects in which there are many topics, for example quantum में WKB, variational, so many topics are there. So and you realize that questions comes basically simple PYQ based kind of question comes. So in that out of 3, my chances that I can do 2 questions, my chances that I can even do all 3 questions. For example, in classical mechanics you can easily do 2 out of 3, because one question will be from Lagrangian, one question will be from canonical transformations, one question will be from which quantity is conserved, or maybe the small oscillation. Okay. Similarly, in statistical mechanics, one question will be from Bose-Einstein condensation, or from the Fermi-Dirac statistics. One question will be from your what I can say, your hard question on canonical transformation. One will be from random walk. So you will see that they are asking 3-4 questions. 1 or 2 will be easy, other will be difficult. If the questions are 4, then 2 questions will be difficult, 2 will be easy. If the questions are 3, 1 question will be easy, 2 questions will be difficult. So from every subject you have to find one easy question. 9 तो यही हो गए. And from some subjects which you are good in, एक क्वेश्चन और ढूंढना है. तो ट्राई करना है कि 13 to 14 क्वेश्चन तक अटेम्प्ट करें. कर सकते, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. 12, 13, 14 questions you can attempt if you have studied part C syllabus. Again I'm telling, if you have not studied part C syllabus, then आपके लिए कुछ भी easy नहीं है. Everything is difficult for you. ठीक है. Then nothing is, then even WKB का easy question will be difficult for you. ठीक है. So that is the idea here. 1 hour you spent on 10 to 12 questions, so it gives you comfortable 5-6 minutes for each question. And then any question you have marked as review, like this Lagrangian I have to find, then you spend some time on doing such questions. So if you will actually attempt the questions like this, so what you will see, or what you will observe, is that at least 30 minutes you have saved in an exam. Last के 30 minutes you will have free, मतलब 25 to 30 minutes you will have complete free, because 30 minutes में आपका part A होगा, 1 hour में आपका part B होगा, 1 hour में आपका part C होगा, and you will realize that already you are 100 plus and you have 30 minutes left. Now these 30 minutes will decide your rank. First 2.5 hours is for your selection. Now your selection is done. Now you have either to improve your rank, or you either have to save yourself from the mistakes. For example, in 100 marks में से something goes wrong, you must have some buffer to arrange that. Always remember when you are doing it, from the easy level to hard level, because your brain will tell you that question I can do. Your brain will give you the hint. Let's try that question. Let's try that question. So then last 30 minutes, you try 7, 8, 9 more questions. I am 100% telling you, by this time, your body, your mind will be fully hot, fully working, fully functional. In last 30 minutes, your mind works the best. So in the last 30 minutes also, you will be able to solve 7 to 8 more questions. But if you will waste your unnecessary time on those 7 to 8 questions in the first reading, then the problem will be you will still end up at 100 marks, but now there will be no 30 minutes left. So then 20-30 marks goes wrong here, and then you are at 70 just before qualification. That is what I'm telling you. So that is what these 30 minutes is very important. How do you save it? 20 minutes, 30 minutes, even if you get 20 minutes in the end, you have to solve new questions in it. कैसे ये 30 minutes कैसे save होंगे? When you actually see the question, you decide that you can do, but don't do it. Don't do it. You only do the questions which are really, you see, like the PYQs, you know the formula, and you just apply it. Only in those questions you will score good and good. Okay? You see, that is what I was talking about. Phase and gain in OPAMP. You see, 3 questions in electronics came. First, convert voltage into this converter, low impedance, high output, and so on, so on. It's a theory based concept. Someone has studied it. If someone has not studied it, not studied it. So difficult question. Second question, obviously difficult. Diode hai, something you have to do. Difficult question, nothing like any of the PYQ, nothing like any of the PYQ. But the third question which electronics gave was similar to PYQ, phase and gain. If you have done PYQs, you know that these kind of questions are repeated many times. Phase and gain. And that is was also the homework I gave you yesterday. If this is a do this kind of questions. Watch the lecture. Okay, so out of 3, 1 question of electronics is done. I am happy with electronics. I'm not bad. I'm not unhappy with electronics. Move on. Now you see solid state, crystallography, BCC, simple came. The third nearest neighbor of BCC. Simple. If you have studied crystallography, 1 question of solid state is done. I am happy with solid state, even if I'm not able to do any other question. Okay, second question of you see effective mass is given, dielectric constant is given. Obviously, the difficult question of solid state. Skip. Third question, you see another question of electronics. I'm not going to attempt it because I'm happy with my electronics now. Okay. If the orbital angular momentum is transferred, if you can solve such questions, it's good. If not, move on. Okay. Again, you see scattering is interatomic potential. Again, solid state. I'm not. Basically, what you have to do is one question from each subject. Now, this is from atomic and molecular. Stokes and anti-Stokes. If you know the basic idea of Stokes and Raman spectra, obviously this question you will do. Very easy question. So 1 question of atomic and molecular is done. I am happy. Okay. Even if I am not able to do laser question, I'm happy because atomic and molecular 1 question is done. Okay. Now this is 2 alpha particle spin parity is asked, nucleus, difficult question of nucleus, difficult question of nucleus. I'm not happy because in all 3 questions I found nuclear physics to be difficult. So I'm not able to solve any of the questions in nuclear physics. But my idea is at least I should be able to do 1. So I will think little bit. Do I have any idea for this? No. Do I have any idea? I will read little bit. The cross section of the above expression depends upon mass energy, maybe something. If don't if you have no idea, don't make tukkas at all. Never. Okay. And if this is a question, maybe in this I can use some brain. Even if I'm not able to use some brain, you have to remember that in nuclear, in out of these 3 questions, I was able to do none. So from some other subject, I have to do 2 questions. Okay. So ये idea आपके दिमाग में you should always have. ठीक है कि this is what I have to do. Out of 3 questions, every subject 1 I have to do. If I'm not able to do any, even 1 question out of 3, then from some other subject I have to compensate. Okay. So for example, from mechanics, first question very hard, not do. Second question, application. If I do the maths properly, I will be able to do it. Third question, stability analysis, difficult, won't do it. Quantum ka first question, WKB, very simple. Quantum ka second question, scattering, not simple but can be done. Third question, difficult, will leave. Fourth question again, Born. So quantum gave 4 questions. So this also I can do. Okay, so out of 4, 3 I can do. So that compensates for nuclear. Okay, group and phase velocity, mechanics ka 4th question, and it is very simple. Mechanics ka another question I am able to do. Again, it compensates. Okay, now relativistic electromagnetism, very simple question I can do. Relativistic electromagnetism ka 1 more question, difficult, can't do. Newton-Raphson, easy, I can do. Mechanics ka 5th question, I cannot do. Quantum ka 2nd question or 5th question, I cannot still do. ये क्वेश्चन मैथमेटिक्स का है, some can do, some cannot do. ठीक है. So in every subject, 1 question and any other question you do compensates for some other subject or gives you the extra benefit. ठीक है. So again the summary, 30-40 minutes for part A, 1 hour for part B, 1 hour for part C, last 30 minutes for 7 to 8 questions which you think is doable and you can do them. ठीक है. And if you keep on moving by marking your questions for review to all those questions which might be able to get stuck in the process, you will always save some time. So in 1 hour, your first reading will be done in 30 minutes. So another 30 minutes you apply to those questions. In part C, again, you will be done in 40 minutes. So 20 minutes for those questions which need some mathematical techniques. Okay, so this is the idea. Yes, any question now you want to ask. Okay, so if you wish to do part C syllabus, so in my value addition course, I am focusing on part C syllabus more than part B. Okay, so whatever part C topics needs to be done, we are covering it. So that will actually give you very good idea if the similar kind of questions are repeated in an exam, which every year gets repeated, will give you much edge. Okay, so yes, any doubt now you have, please go ahead.